quick tips on the planes of the face, where to place lighting and shadow, and how to place lighting and shadow. All right, so if you look at our beautiful little example here, go ahead and name him in the comments. He looks awfully flat. There's a drastic difference between this and this. This here, he's starting to look a little more three-dimensional, a little bit more real. Mind you, I did this in like 5 minutes, but you know, you get the idea. A wonderful resource real quick, by the way, is the Asaro head. This bad boy right here, couldn't recommend him enough. I will leave a link down below on a 3D model of him so you can play with him a lot and then use him as a reference photo for your own art. One of the biggest things with art is getting to know that balance between cast shadows and diffused shadows. Cast shadows are going to be those harsh, dark shadows that are coming off of an object, while diffused shadows are going to be those nice, softer, round shadows. Think shading a square versus shading a circle or a sphere in a cube. So cast shadows on a face like this, where you're kind of having that lighting straight on, are going to be here right under the brow bone, underneath of the nose, the top lip, bottom of the jaw. Think of all of these things almost like a shelf. That harsh drop off here and here and here and here are all going to create relatively dark shadows. Things that are a bit more diffuse and a bit rounder, such as like where the nose kind of creates this shadow right here to connect it. This is where you can kind of blend out into the skin. Now the fun part, the high points of the face. Consider makeup as you're working on these characters. Where do you want to highlight? Everyone highlights that brow bone. They highlight the tip of their nose, the tippy top of the lip right there, and their cheekbone. All these are spots where light is really going to catch. You can also place it here on the bottom part of the lip, so on and so forth. All you're doing with makeup is just accentuating the high points of your face. Now to look at this on a fully rendered character, we see these examples all over again. See here the cast shadow in the brow bone. We have the under the neck. We have those softer diffuse shadows on the side of the nose. He doesn't have the most intensely striking cheekbones. However, we can still see that this area is a little bit lighter than these two shadows. Different bone structure, different example, different lighting. But you can still see the same principles coming into play. He still has these highlights. But then over here in the corner where there is shadow, we're going to see instead of a highlight, just his regular skin tone kind of poking through that shadow on that cheekbone. Even in profile, we can see here that this section, which is going to be his cheekbone, is a little bit darker than up here where that light is still catching. These rules translate into every single face shape, face type, whatever. All you got to do is follow those ridges and valleys, study the Asaro head. Let me know if you have any questions or comments or concerns down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching.